Nah, can't stop me.
Hi guys, welcome back to Feast or Famine with the Youngs.
We are the Youngs. Don't mind all the cars and the loud noises from steam motorcycles and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's a very nice day out today.
Yeah.
Did I say noise?
Noise.
It's a noise day.
Noise, dude. Noise. Boy.
And it is great.
Sorry, I'm having some mic issues.
Who's Mike?
Okay. Today, we are talking about manifestation. Alex and I love this topic. Manifestation is a normal word in our vocabulary. I would say daily we talk about manifest that or something, you know?
Absolutely. We are firm believers in your ability to control, even subconsciously,
Certain things.
certain events and things in your life.
Yeah. So a little bit about what manifestation is. It is an idea or theory that can be embodied to make happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to add to that, the way we specifically apply it to our lives, and I wrote this down, says your mindset and words subconsciously create action. Your life is always moving in the direction of those thoughts, of those strongest thoughts.
Yeah. So manifestation and mindset, I would say, go hand in hand. If anything, they're almost the same thing.
Right.
But manifestation is one step further. It's not only like believing it to be true, but speaking and knowing it to be true. I would say that's the difference between mindset and manifestation.
Well, and also I attribute mindset to like glass half full, glass half empty.
Yeah.
And if you're a glass half full type person, it's generally a positive mindset. If you're a glass half empty type person, it's generally a negative mindset. And those negative or positive thoughts in general are always going to manifest themselves in your life in that same regard. So if you
embody themselves in your life.
If you think positively, positive things will come. If you're constantly negative
things will come.
That's all you're going to see. That's all you're going to bring into existence.
Sorry, I feel like my mic's got really, it walked away from me on this last podcast. So just making sure it was close to me. Sorry.
You didn't tranquilize it before we started?
But yes, I agree. It's the idea of what you put out into the universe is what you get back. And I have seen that just in my life, like so many times on each side. You know, I'm positive about something, positive things happen because of it. I struggle with anxiety, and things like that. So there are times that I'm just negative. You know, I'm just like a Debbie Downer. It happens.
You're consumed by your anxiety.
Yeah. It just makes me negative. And I have those days, and some days it just completely controls me. And on those days, nothing, necessarily good happens because I'm just in a constant state of negativity. So I have to force myself out of that and do something positive, have a positive mindset, say I'm actually going to have a good day today, that type of thing. Like I have to force myself to be positive about something, or else the negativity will still creep in and just pitch a tent and stay for life. So I have to be positive.
So like when you say, I'm going to have a good day today, what you're really doing is you're speaking into existence the idea that today is going to be a good day. And because you verbally spoke it into existence, into the world, your mind subconsciously, whether you realize it or not, is actively trying to make sure that happens.
Yeah. Did you know that if you're in a bad mood and you smile, and it's not like a forced smile, I think if you force yourself to smile, it still like subconsciously works. But if you are in a bad mood and you laugh or you smile, it is like, I don't know what the actual statistic is, but it's like a large percent higher that you'll get out of that bad mood. So, and it happens all the time for us. It's like,
because-
I'm pissed at Alex and he'll do something to make me laugh and I hate it, but I laugh and then I'm pretty much not mad anymore.
It's because anxiety and stress they create more cortisol level.
Yeah.
Your cortisol levels rise.
Yeah.
Science. And the act of laughing actually secrete. Don't remember what the hormone is, but it secretes a hormone that basically lowers your cortisol levels.
Yeah. Yeah. So like
So scientifically, yes, that works.
Yes. If I'm like in a bad mood, I will actually get on TikTok to laugh because there's so much on TikTok that's just hilarious. And I will like this may be an unpopular opinion, but I will scroll on TikTok until I like verbally laugh out loud.
It happens. She actually does laugh out loud a lot.
And then it helps me get out of that bad mood. So anyway, we are talking about manifestation, which it still goes hand in hand with this.
I mean, it's totally relevant because you can't manifest a positive outcome when you're in a negative mood.
Yeah, so you have to like get yourself out of it.
So what are some examples of you manifesting something, whether it's small or large?
So for me, this happens a lot with work. And Alex will attest to this. But
I know what you're going to say.
I know you know what I'm going to say. I go through these like waves of, oh my God, I suck. Why am I not booking? We're not going to book up this year. Just anxiety, worry, negativity. And Alex is like, you do this every year. It's always between October and December. But it is a pattern for me. I will say that. And I know it, which helps get me out of it quicker. But it's almost like a flip of the switch type of thing. Like I'm like, nope, today is going to be a good day. Today we're going to book a wedding. And for me, I can say those things, but until I like put the work in for it, it won't happen. So for me, manifestation looks like I'm positive. I know I'm going to book a wedding today. I know we're going to get an inquiry. I know that I'm going to kick ass today at my job. So I sit down, I work hard, and I'm like, I'm doing hard work. Work will come to me. I know it will. If I put in the work, it will come back to me. And like always does. 99% of the time, it happens. And
that is a good point. I feel like a lot of people view manifestation as this mythical power to create something out of nothing.
It's not.
But that's not what it is.
It's not just like, I'm going to buy a Corvette this week. It's like, what are you going to do to buy that Corvette? What are you going to do to make that happen this week? Sure, it can happen, but you have to set yourself up for it and believe that it will happen. But you can't just sit back with a bag of chips and just expect a Corvette to drive into your driveway. Like you have to put work in.
Right. So like what's your example of needing to book a wedding and just kick ass at your job today? It doesn't just happen because you say, I'm going to do it, but it also does. And I'll explain. It's not I'm going to have a great day today. And then you just sit back with your bag of chips and your day is just good. Although a day with a bag of chips on your couch is probably a good day, but that's a different topic. Anyway, but by putting that out into the world, the manifestation comes in because you're subconsciously absorbing that idea and subconsciously, I say subconscious, do a drinking game with, anytime I say subconsciously, you have to take a drink.
Okay.
Anyway, you subconsciously put that into the world and your mind is continuously trying to make you do the things that you have to do to make that a reality. So for booking a wedding, for instance, we haven't gotten an inquiry. You look back, we haven't really posted or gotten on stories or anything in the last week very much. So let's jump on there. Let's talk about the fact that we're booking up and we only got, right now we've only got 3 dates this year left.
Yeah. I think, so I agree with what you're saying, but I think what I'm going to say, maybe an easier way to sum that up, is it's the energy. Like the physical energy that you exert is the energy that the universe gives back to you. And I feel like this is true whether you're a believer of Christ or not. For us, it's this, but then also faith based for us specifically. But just generally speaking, there's energy in the world on this planet. There's energy that makes things happen, move, things like that. I'm not a scientist, so please forgive me when I'm explaining this. But it's the mindset and then the actual energy that your body exerts, putting that into the world. And the energy that's out there literally just turns around and comes back. So I have this mindset that we're going to book a wedding or that we're going to get an inquiry. But by me exerting the energy into my business, by me working, by me, posting, editing, and exerting that energy back into it, that's when it comes around and comes back to me.
In the form of an inquiry.
In the form of whatever I had manifested that idea to be. Yeah. What's yours?
The studio we're sitting in the studio, so the studio is one of those things. We had no intention. Like we did not, when we found this space, we were not shopping for a space. We just found it. We're like, wow, that's perfect. We should jump on this.
Yeah.
But then there was a few things because it was a very popular spot that several people were wanting. So we pretty much just put it into the universe that this is our spot. We're going to get this spot. And like telling our realtor, this is ours.
Yeah. And believing it to be true.
Believing it to be true
Not
and making
like,
plans to, once we can get in here, what we're going to do with it, what it's going to look like, making a mood board for the feel.
Sometimes.
Even before we closed and we're able to move stuff in. Sometimes
for me, because I have anxiety and because I'm a worrywart, I can manifest something, but at the same time, it's almost like, so for the studio, I'll just give an example. It was like, I will literally say, I know this studio is going to be ours, but what if? And then fill in the link. That is not manifestation.
That's the opposite.
That's the opposite. It's
succumbing to your fear.
I know this studio is going to be ours. Period. Not, but what if? There's no buts when it comes to manifestation. And sometimes that's what I struggle with is I will say it, but then inside my mind, I'm like, but what if? But what if this? But what if that? And that completely takes away from what I just did. So I have to say it and then stop even thinking about it.
Right.
So that's difficult for me sometimes.
And I'm a problem solver. So I don't like the idea of what if, because you can't control that anyway.
I would say that I hardly ever hear you speak like that. You are always a go-getter, this will work out type of thing. I know, because you're my husband and I know you, I know that you have those what if moments, that you have worries and concerns, but also on the same side of the coin, because we're married and I struggle with that, you don't necessarily vocalize that to me. You keep it internally, which isn't necessarily fair to you. But you don't vocalize it because it would freak me out. But I know you have that.
But by not vocalizing it, I don't focus on it.
You don't focus on it. And so in that same turn of events, you're able to be more positive about it and say that, it's going to happen or whatever, So what are the people who don't necessarily believe as strongly about manifestation as we do? What do you think their perspective is on it, on why it's not a real thing, or I don't know.
I think, and actually we had a conversation recently with one of our friends. I don't think they necessarily don't believe in manifestation, but the comment was, when we were talking about it, the industry that they're in has a lot to do with luck, which is true. However, luck doesn't play into manifestation, because you can If you put the work in and you just say, I'm going to do this, you'll get there.
Right.
It may not be right now. And yes, there is luck involved, but
then
you have to circumvent the fact that you might get lucky, you might not. You can't control that. So,
and you never know if it was luck or if you manifested it.
right. That's why I think that a lot of times it's not just getting lucky. It's you put the work in. Somewhere down the line, that person that you say got lucky put the work in, and they continued to put the work in and manifested that for themselves.
Yeah, it's the energy, like I said, that you put out into the world is what you get back. And I feel like even if you don't believe that what you're doing is manifestation, if you're positive generally most of the time and you believe that things can happen, or you're positive about a situation, chances are it's going to turn out like pretty well. Something that I always say is, if you're in a tough situation, whatever the situation may be, things always work out. Whether you believe like one thing or another, things always work out eventually. It may get worse before it gets better, but eventually everything just works out. Why? Because that's just how the universe works.
Yep.
Storms do not last forever.
Nope.
So even just believing that may manifest your situation to be a lot shorter of a time, but just believing that this is only a season, this is only, an issue that I have to deal with so long, like this is not going to last, this is not going to change my life, this is not going to ruin anything for me, and having a positive outlook on it, I think just shortens it a lot for you than what it could otherwise. If you were like, wow, I'm in a crap situation, how long is this going to last?
That circles right back to mindset. If you have the mindset and you're positive, like even in the midst of a storm, you have a positive mindset by saying, this will not last forever. This cannot last forever.
Right.
Because that's not how this works. That alone will put you on a track to get past it already.
Right.
And that is manifestation.
So what are some other tips for manifestation? I have a couple.
Go ahead.
I know one that you do.
What?
It's on your computer.
Oh.
Visually, so a big part of it, and I would say one of the biggest parts, is verbally speaking it into the world and then knowing it to be true. Another thing is visually seeing it.
Like my desktop on my computer is a car that I want.
Yeah. It's not me. It's not his wife. He's already got that. So it's a car.
I want the car.
Yeah.
So I see it. Granted, I need to put it on my desktop because I don't open my laptop very much anymore. And it's completely covered and I need to clean up. I need that laptop needs some help.
Yeah.
But just, I always do my work on a computer. So my thought was, if that's the first thing I do when I open my computer up, then it's automatically going to say, what do I need to do to make that happen?
Right. Another thing would be to write it down. And this is also visual, but for some reason, when you write something, it becomes part of like a muscle memory type of thing. So like if you're in school and you are studying, it's a good idea to like write out chapters and things like that, because it helps you retain that information. Excuse me. But so writing out whatever that is that you want to manifest also helps. And then when you write it out, put it somewhere that you can look at it every day.
Yep.
I do that a lot.
And put it somewhere that you're going to see it several times a day.
Yeah.
So like if you have one bathroom in your house, put it on the mirror in your bathroom because you are going to use your bathroom several times a day.
Right. So that just made me think, even if it's like an idea, even if your manifestation is not a tangible thing, like something that you can touch and feel, but if it's like a mental thing, like for women and men, if you are struggling with like self-image, write "you're beautiful" on the mirror, because when you go in there and you look at the mirror, instead of looking at yourself and being like, oh my God, my hair looks like crap today, or oh my God, I don't like this about me, or whatever, you're going to see the words "you're beautiful." And if you see it over and over and over and you read it and you are hearing yourself say it in your mind, you will retain it and you will start to believe that fact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you put it out in front of yourself
Yeah.
over and over and over again, it will happen.
Right.
And it comes down to changing your mindset. And what you just said, that will change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And me opening my computer, even if I wasn't feeling it that day, and seeing that picture, I'm like, all right, I want that, so I got to do this.
Right. What is like one time, other than the studio, what's another like real life example that you can think of for manifestation?
I just feel like I'm generally positive, which is not necessarily always good.
No, that's always good.
But
You're overzealous, which is not a
what do you
bad
mean?
thing.
Oh,
You are just like, go, 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 go all the time. And sometimes I'm like, whoa.
maybe, I mean, I celebrate wins, but I'm always like, okay, next. So me
On
think,
to bigger and better goals.
right. So like once you achieve a goal, you make another bigger, better goal.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to think about what those times specifically were for myself.
I know one that we're working on right now.
Because I get there, and whether I manifest it or not, which, I mean, I believe in most cases you do, I do, but I'm like, I accept it, I celebrate, move on. And then, I mean, I don't
do you
forget
think-
about it happening, the idea that it's there, and I'm thankful.
Do you think that you manifested like your job right now? When you were in your other job?
Yeah, but not in a good way.
What do you mean?
I mean, it was a very toxic environment.
Right.
So,
But were you ever like, I'm just going to work for myself? Like,
yeah, I all the time I did. And because of that, I mean, I would focus a lot on our business,
Right.
which at the time I wasn't really part of, but I was still helping with.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do things constantly to build that.
here's a better way of saying it. You knew that you were going to work for yourself. That was something that you've manifested.
Mm-hmm.
But when you stopped working at your previous job and then were put in this like position, that's not what came from your manifestation. I would say our current success right now is what came from your manifestation of like working for yourself.
Like,
And you were like, I'm going to make this work because this is what
okay.
season of life I'm
so
in right now.
when I got laid off.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
You're like, well, I'm going to make this work. This is going to happen.
and one of the things when I got laid off, when they were talking to me about who they were laying off and everything, was they wanted to help me out with a good severance package because they see me as an entrepreneurial person.
Right.
And they were like, I want to make sure you have time to build that,
Yeah.
which is, I'm super grateful for. So, yes, I got laid off and I said, I got 3 months. Let's make it work, make it happen.
And I remember
was
that.
basically like a set timeline.
Yeah.
I had to make it work by this certain date.
Yeah. And I remember that. And you were like, we want to be a husband and wife photo video team. We can do that.
We are. There we go.
There we go. This is us now. You were literally like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. So this is us. We're doing it. This is us now.
Mm-hmm. It's a matter of, it's being like a matter of fact.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's a matter of fact.
It wasn't
And
like,
that's
maybe
it.
I want to do this or maybe I want to do this. It's no, this is what I'm doing.
It wasn't, well, if it works out for the next couple months, then we'll keep doing it. It was, well, this is us now. This is what we do. And I was like, okay, following your lead, babe. So yeah, I mean, that's a good one.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like you see them more than I do. For me.
I definitely do, which is interesting because you're the idea machine that we call. You're the idea machine.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely do manifest like things more than you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. We're working on one right now.
Yep.
And something that with this manifestation that we have currently right now, we literally talk about it every single day.
As if it's a thing.
As if it's a thing. And it will be a thing.
And you'll know about it
Yeah.
in a little while.
So, but we talk about it every day. So if there's something that you're manifesting, something that you want to happen, live your life, go each day as if it's a part of your life already.
Yep.
It's a normal thing. It's not just this thing that you really, really are striving for. It's just a normal thing, a part of your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, and here's an example. Like
I manifested having Oliver.
Having Oliver?
Yeah.
You mean getting Oliver?
Yes.
You didn't have Oliver.
I had Oliver from the moment that I saw him on my computer screen.
You didn't have him.
Like
you gave birth to him. Because he is a dog.
He is a dog. I did not give birth to him. Wow. I did not even think of it like that. But I knew that the moment that I saw Oliver, I was like, we are going to have this dog.
I said no for months.
Literally, it was like, hey, look at the update on our new puppy. Like
She called it our new puppy.
And that may be not a manifestation. That may just be like me forcing something that I want.
Should we tell people what his name was?
Frankie.
Frankie. From the where we got him. Because I name all the dogs.
Yeah, Frankie.
His name was Frankie.
I don't hate that name. It's cute.
I feel like it works for him, though.
It kind of does, but Oliver's way better. Okay, maybe that's not a good example of manifestation.
You did kind of manifest that, though.
I just forced it on you.
I mean, that's kind of manifesting if you want to think about it.
I mean...
You called it our dog, and then you forced me to go see the dog.
Well, I guess it is manifestation, because when I saw him, there was already a family interested in him.
There were several. And they
fell through because I manifested that shit. I was like, he is our dog. I just know it. He's ours. He's coming home with me. And then me believing that, then I just made like the appointment. Then we went to go look at him. And I didn't ask your permission, which I don't recommend.
They made us a deal that we could not pass up.
Yeah. So then it was just like me like making these appointments and things to go and see him and meet him. And I knew once Alex saw him, it was like a done deal.
Yeah, he's my buddy.
Yeah.
But he hates us. He likes Sean better.
So I'm going to do that with our next dog because I want another puppy. So, stay tuned for me to manifest that next puppy, 'cause it will happen. Anyway, and
on the next episode, Alex says no to a dog.
On the next episode, there's just like a puppy in my lap. How about we manifest that?
Let's talk about...
He's like, no.
I just hit the mic. Let's talk about what we did recently and started doing as far as like how to start manifesting something that you want in life. There's a subdivision going in.
Oh, yeah.
In the area that we kind of want to live. And we've driven through the subdivision dozens of times. Mm-hmm. And we would drive past this model home and then drive back to the empty lots and basically just like looking and just be in awe and be like, I want this. But we finally took a step and said, you know what? We're going to go check out this house. So we walked in the house. I mean, it's a model house and they were open. We didn't just walk into a house. And we like walked through the house, talked to the realtor and just about all the options and the prices. And
it was also a part of like educating ourselves on like how to build, like we've never built a house before.
How the process would be with them.
Yeah.
But the whole time we're looking there, we're treating it as if it's our house. And like for Christmas, we'd put the tree over here and like I would do this with the pantry and maybe not have this and do this instead. And then we'd go down to the basement and that you could finish and say, I would put this here and maybe have a room over here and there's a spot for a bathroom here. Right. Basically putting ourselves into this house.
Yeah, you visually see yourself living there.
And then after we did that, we drove back to the new lots and we picked one.
Yeah.
We didn't buy it, but we picked it. We said, I want that lot, but the house we just talked about.
Which that lot will probably be gone.
But it's the idea of picturing yourself already being there.
Yeah.
And already having it.
And putting yourself through the process.
And putting yourself in there.
Yeah. Something that we still do, even though we went and like walked through that model home, like, we've gone and gotten coffee, and this may sound so creepy, but thank God it's a model home and it's not like nobody's living there. But we go and we get coffee and we just sit in the car and sit in front of the house and talk about it.
In front of that house.
In front of that house and talk about it and just have coffee. And we'll sit there for like a half hour to 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. Just talking about the house and, what we want to do, what we would want to change, And I just
pull up her Pinterest board.
Yeah, and just like Pinterest together, like that is manifestation at its finest. Like we are putting ourselves in the environment of living there, talking it out, you know, and speaking it into the universe.
Yep. I think this one will be more of a
And it's
long-term
not-
thing, but
yeah.
it's
not
will
if we
absolutely happen.
build this house, it's when we build.
When we build this house.
When. Has a lot to do with the way that you speak.
And like even as little as like the process of when we start the build, what we do in the meantime, whether we sell our house, whether we move in somewhere else, get an apartment, like making that plan
Yeah.
as if it's already happening.
Yeah. That's manifestation at its finest for us. And it can be applied to like so many different things in life.
Right.
You know, literal things like I want this car, or like big idea things like I want this dream job.
If you want a car, go look at that car. For instance, this popped in my head. Our 4Runner. It's not a lot of people love 4Runners. I mean,
Yeah.
I love the 4Runner. I didn't really see it as a dream car necessarily, but it's a car we've really wanted for.
We looked at like online. We didn't see one in person, but we looked at 4Runners for probably 3 months.
Or more. I've looked at them probably longer than that.
Okay.
And we're like, we really want I want a 4Runner. And we at the time were like, well, we just bought this car. It was hunk crap. We'll never buy one of those again. So we weren't really expecting to buy one. Then I find this one, and it was just a steal. And we drove past it a couple times, and eventually we're just like, let's just go look at it. Let's just go ask about it.
We were doing something and we were driving by the dealership and we knew like it was there, and we were like, we're driving by, let's just go look at it.
Let's go look at it real quick. And real quick turned into, we're buying this thing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like sometimes like that's just how things go. But it wouldn't have worked out if we didn't believe that we could even have that car,
Right.
you know?
Like, I didn't want to go ask about it because I'm like,
We didn't think that we'd be able to make it work.
yeah, and I don't want to be disappointed. But then we walked in and we drove the car, and I'm like, and when we drove the car, I'm like, this is our car.
Yeah.
This
just felt right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a smaller example, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's ours.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Any final thoughts?
If you're not practicing manifestation in your life, do it. Start today. It is literally a game changer. And I know it sounds like kind of silly to talk about, but it's not. It can change so much. Like just when we're in our house and Alex is like, hey, I want to do that. I'm like, manifest that shit. Like make that happen. You can do that. And it's just it's a normal thing for us. And I feel like it pretty much is like a normal topic for most business owners and entrepreneurs. But if it's not a common practice for you, start.
And even before that, even more simply, change your mindset and start practicing positivity. If you catch yourself, just be more observant of your mindset and what you're putting out into the universe. If you're constantly being negative, nip that in the bud right away.
Yeah. I mean, nobody wants to be around a negative Nancy.
So like, if
You know when you meet those people and you're like, they just have good energy.
be that person.
Be that person. That's what I strive to be. I need to work on it a little bit because I still have those
Moments.
negative
We all
negative
have those moments.
tendencies. But Alex is like positive a lot. So,
She's annoyed by it sometimes.
I mean,
She's annoyed by it sometimes.
yes. But it's a good thing. Like, I would be so sad if you weren't that way. I need you to be that way because I am the way
I
that
would
I am.
literally be sad if I wasn't that way.
I know. And I just thought of like, why are you the way that you are? Do you think that about me?
No,
Am I a negative Nancy for you?
no.
Okay, good. Because I really try to be positive. And you rub off on me a lot.
You have this thing, and there's some merit to it. And you're like, if I say I'm going to do something, I always get it, or I always do it.
No, it's I'm almost always right.
No, not that.
Not that?
No, not that. Because you always say
Oh,
that.
like literally, like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but to the extent of like, I'm trying to think of an example.
Well, I mean, yes. So here's the deal with that. How do I say this without coming off extremely cocky? Everything that I've said that I'm going to do, for as long as I can make decisions on my own, I have done them. So,
And that comes down to like, not just like, I'm going to go to this place next weekend.
No.
Like to the extent of setting a goal and actually accomplishing it.
So I decided that I was going to go to school and get a office administration certificate. I did that.
And then I said, you're going to get a job at Boeing.
And at first I was like, I can't get a job at Boeing. Like, that's crazy. That's a huge company. And then I was like, nope, I'm going to get a job at Boeing. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to apply to Boeing and one other place. And I did. I only applied to 2 places. I got both jobs and then took Boeing. So I
you were
did
able
that.
to like pit them against each other and got more money to start at Boeing when you
Yeah.
started.
I wasn't going to mention that, but yeah.
Why not?
So I did that. I was like, I'm going to do this. I did that. I'm trying to think.
I'm going to quit my job.
Well, even
that I just got.
I'm going to quit my job. And I did. Well, it was I'm going to start this business. I'm going to be a business owner. And, it took steps to get there, but I did it.
And then when it got to be a full time, she told me several times, I'm going to quit my job. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to quit my job.
Yeah.
I'm going to quit my job. We can do this. I'm going to quit my job.
Right. And backtracking, I keep hitting the mic now because it's too close to me. So you're going to hate me when you're editing this. So I'm sorry.
That's what I'm going to hear.
Okay. Yeah, probably. Sorry. Backtracking a lot before all of that happened. This is so frou-frou, and please do not make fun of me. But when I was in high school, I literally wrote down the type of husband that I was going to have. And I did that. And it's so cheesy, but literally I wish I had the piece of paper still. But I was like, I'm going to have a husband that's this, even down to like the way that they look, but also like their attributes, the way that they treat me, their life, their beliefs, things like that. And it's pretty much a painted picture of the man sitting right next to me.
I don't know. I kind of look pretty goofy when you met me.
But he's gorgeous
I was
now.
a goofy looking dude.
Aging like fine wine, baby.
It's fine. I'm okay with it.
But I did that. So, yeah, I definitely do that. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
So you've been practicing manifestation before you knew what manifestation was.
That's true. Yeah.
Before you I'm sure you knew what manifestation was,
Right.
but you didn't actually like think about, oh, I'm manifesting this. You were just literally doing it.
Yeah. He's distracted by probably a really nice car.
Chevelle. Anyway,
I'm trying to think of like another example of that.
of manifesting or what I said.
Of me saying I'm going to do something and then I do it. It's really kind of interesting because, not to call your dad out, but your dad was like a really big, not supportive, but like questioned.
He's very much a
lot.
devil's advocate
Yes.
type of person. And like you say you're going to do something and he always has the
other side to
Yeah.
bring to you. Like he's a realist, right?
He was at one point.
Yeah.
I think he's changed.
And he's changed because of us. And so when I decided that I was going to quit my job at Boeing, he was like, that's a bad idea. He actually said, don't do that.
And that's the worst
That's
decision.
the worst decision you're going to make. Don't do that. And that scared me because I respect your father and I love
an
his
amazing opportunity is what basically you're saying.
I respect your dad. I love him. His opinion means a lot to me. And so for him to say, don't do that, you're making a huge mistake. I was like, oh shit, am I making a huge mistake? But then that really only lasted very short because I was like, this is something that I know I have to do. And from that moment on, from making that decision, what he has seen us build coming from that, he hardly ever questions the decisions that we make now, which is nice because he believes in us.
Because he understands.
Yeah. And it literally took a while for us to get him there. Like we actually had to like show him our, finances, our books and like, hey, like we're doing this, like this is happening and it's successful. And he had to visually see it, but now he doesn't really question it anymore.
No, he like talks us up to literally everyone.
Yeah. He's the proud dad.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so yeah, mindset has a lot to do with it, but that's pretty much it for me.
I mean, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, I would say if you're not practicing this already, or you're just kind of like going through the motions, I would take a step back and look at the areas of your life that you realize that you are perpetually negative.
Yeah.
And change that. And once you start changing that and putting yourself into a more positive environment and mindset, you'll be amazed at how much you start to manifest things in your life.
Yeah. Yep.
So, if you have any examples or stories on manifestation, put them in the comments on YouTube. Share the link. Comment, whatever. And we will see you next time.
All right, guys. Peace.